Which statement shows that the liquid is pure water, right? Now, water, we have identification test for water, right? That is, you can remember anhydrous copper sulfate or copper chloride can be used to identify water, right? But those do not clarify that water is pure. Even water in a aqueous sulfuric acid or acid solution, they will show the presence of water, right? But this doesn't show, these two, right, doesn't show whether it's pure water or not. So this is not to show pure water. So the purity of water is checked with the sharp known, not only water, any substance purity, sharp known boiling points and melting points, right? So then boiling point or melting point, I want you guys to write this stuff, right, as your review on the MCQ. So MCQ review is the best way to remember many of this information, right, to improve. You might have already felt the advantage of the revision class when you were doing the semester exam paper, MCQ paper, right? You feel you have little confidence. You may not reach the best that you could because you joined the revision recently, right? But when you see the questions, now you are analyzing, omitting things and writing the answers and finding the correct answers, right? So that's a big achievement, right? So therefore, here the answer, it boils at 100 is the answer, right? Okay, which two gases give the same results test shown, right? Okay, if two gases are going to give same result, right? It's interesting. Okay, let's say, right? Definitely ammonia and chlorine. No, because ammonia, we will write it here. Ammonia, it does red litmus blue, right? Ammonia. Chlorine, right? Whatever the color, red, if it will be bleached. If it is blue, will turn red and it will be bleached, right? And hydrogen, it's going to be with lighted splint pops. Oxygen will be glowing splint, will be relighted, right? Will be relighted. So when you look at this, damn blue litmus paper, which two gases give the same result? Definitely not. Because ammonia, red litmus blue, so these two are raw. Lighted splint. Hydrogen will give you pop. You know that the chlorine is not having any connection with the lighted splint. Therefore, that's also out. So in the omission method, you get the answer as what? D. But you have a question, is it correct? That's true that we need a glowing splint for oxygen. But can't we do that with the lighted splint itself? You can. Why? When you bring the lighted splint, the flame goes higher with oxygen. You can say it's oxygen. If it is hydrogen, flame will be distinguished and giving you pop sound. Is that clear? Therefore, it is kind of an acceptable answer, right? That's how the MCQs are. Now, MCQs do not have to utilize the exact identical information that you learned in the theory class because it can be logically found. Is that clear? Right? But don't use this to remember hydrogen is tested with the lighter splint. Oxygen is also tested with the lighter splint. No, the test for oxygen is with the glowing splint, right? But it is not wrong to have the lighter spread in both. Right, next one. Yeah.
You have marked B as the answer.
Which one?
You have marked B as the answer for second.
Correct. Right, it has to be D. Right, it has to be D. Right. Dilute nitric acid added. Which two gases give the same result of the test shown? The answer is D, right? Okay. Dilute nitric acid is added to solid air. A gas produced which is denser than air extinguishes a burning flame. I know you can answer this, but it's not what I want you to understand. Remember, when you put an acid into a solid, right? If it says you get a gas, there are three types of solids that can give this observation. That's what I want you guys to understand. What are the three types of solids that can give you a gas? Yes?
Metal.
Metal, very good. If it is a metal, what's the gas?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. What's the other type of solid? Carbonates. If it is a carbonate or hydrogen carbonate, it also gives you a gas. What is that? Carbon dioxide. There is another one, which is very rare, of course, right? If the solid is a sulfite, but you know a little bit of sulfite, right? Not that you don't know anything. Sulfite, SO3, not sulfate, huh? Sulfite. Then the gas is going to be sulfur dioxide. You get it? So metal, hydrogen, carbonate, carbon dioxide, sulfite, sulfur dioxide. Okay, right? And now they are asking what is the answer. Of course, calcium oxide is out because it doesn't give you a gas with acids, right? And calcium, all right, it gives you hydrogen gas. It gives you hydrogen. Calcium will give you hydrogen gas. Okay. But does it tally with the rest of the information? Right? When you read this, dilute nitric acid solid, a gas produced which is denser than air. What is the approximate average relative mass of air? What is the approximate average relative mass of air? Huh? 24. No. Not 24.
70.
70. No. What is the average relative atomic mass of relative molecular mass of air? Yeah. 29. We have written that the previous discussion. Yeah, it's 29. Why it's 29? You may be wondering, there is my easy thing. What do you have in air? Air. What do you have in air?
Hydrogen.
Normal breathing air? No, hydrogen. Nitrogen. You have nitrogen. Come on, never. That's all right. At least you remember now.
Oxygen.
It's nitrogen. Oxygen. Nitrogen is 78%. Oxygen is 21%. So nitrogen's mass is 28. N2. Molecular mass of nitrogen is 28 and it is in 78%. Right? Oxygen is 32 and it is in 21%. If you just average these two, you will figure out the relative mass of air should be something above 28, below 32 and close to 28. Like you have mainly nitrogen, right? Therefore, we usually say it's 29, which is not 100% correct. Doesn't matter, right? And hydrogen, it's 2. Definitely hydrogen is lighter. Carbon dioxide is 44, heavier. Sulfur dioxide is 32, 64, heavier than air. So only possible answer now sulfite is anyway out, right? With a lead sulfite. So then the answer is calcium carbonate and carbon dioxide. So we find the answers through theories, not by chance. There is no achievement by chance. We by designing. Designing in the sense you have to study, remember these. Which of the which of these pairs of aqueous ions both react with dilute acid to give visible result? Okay, so kind of like difficult questions actually, right? For those who like don't apply any theories. But anyway, let me explain. Which of these pairs of aqueous ions both react with dilute sulfuric to give a visible result? So you have to take one by one and apply what you know, right? So for example, if you take barium, if you put sulfuric acid, it's going to give you barium sulfate precipitate. Barium sulfate is a white precipitate. It's a white precipitate, right? So then barium will definitely give a result, right? Chloride ion, no connection with sulfuric acid, right? Ammonium, no, ammonium ions are acidic, therefore it doesn't react with an acid. Ammonium ions are acidic. Ammonia is basic. Ammonium ion is acidic. Remember, ammonia gas is basic, but its salt is acidic, right? Carbonates, of course, carbonates, then you today learn, right? When you put acid, it will react with the acid and give you carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide and water, right? So yes, it does. Chloride. So barium does, carbonate does. Then definitely the answer will be which pair? Barium and carbonate ions. You get it? Okay, so let me give you a few minutes. Quickly write down the answers. Right, question also. Okay. Right. So let's go to the question number 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are qualitative analysis and acid-based questions. So some of them actually discussion is longer. They are expected, but they are really good because more you discuss, more you remember, right? So on addition of a sodium hydroxide, you get a green precipitate, and we can remember what gives you green precipitate, Fe2 plus or chromium 3 plus. These are the two ions which give green precipitates, right? The mixture is heated and no gas produced. No gas produced when sodium hydroxide added means no ammonium ions. If ammonium ions are there, if you add hydroxide ions, it should give ammonia gas, right? And heat, it should give ammonia gas. So what does it say? No gas produced, sodium hydroxide is added. That means no ammonia. But once the aluminium foil is added, ammonia is produced. How come that happens? That is because when you have nitrate ions, you put sodium hydroxide, no result. No result, no gas, okay? But if you put aluminium as well and heat, nitrate become ammonia, it's a reduction. So this shows with sodium hydroxide, no gas means no ammonium ions. But after that, putting aluminium and giving you ammonia means you must have nitrate ions. Therefore, the answer is D. Therefore, the answer is D. Right? So this working will be really important. Next one, samples of solution obtained separately tested with dilute hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Right? Okay. In two of the tests, gaseous products form. Now you can apply what you just learned, right? If you add an acid into a solid, you get a gas. So then what should be the solid? Metal, carbonate or sulfide, right? If they say this gives you a gas, that means the solid should be, you learned today, a metal or a carbonate or a sulfide. Then metal in other you have a metal, definitely no metal, all are compounds, right? So do you have a carbonate here? Do you have carbonates here? Okay, you have carbonates here, there, you have carbonates there. Therefore, I am going to remove the A and B because you must have a carbonate or a sulfide. Sulfide, no sulfide. Sulfate is something else. Huh? But now I have two choices. Am I going to select B or C? Then when you add a base to a solid, when you add a base to a solid, if you get a gas, there is only one way, that is ammonia. So in order to get ammonia, a base gives a gas, must be ammonia, right? There is one rare case. Let me ask that after teaching you. So then this solid should be ammonium salt. This solid should be ammonium salt. Then you get the ammonium salt react with hydroxide to give ammonia gas. Therefore, if they say it gives a gas with sodium hydroxide also, that means one of these pair of substances must contain ammonium ions. Right? Then can make the answer. COD. See, because ammonium chloride is there. That's why the answer. Right? Okay, extra question. I said, when you put a base to a solid, in our syllabus, there is only one substance give you a gas, right? That is ammonium ion. But I said, no, there is another substance really that you find. Can you guys try? There's one more substance can give a gas when you add a base, strong base. You can do the tries. Yes? Nitrite, no. That also needs aluminium. You will learn that in your A levels. So I assume Dulmika Mauli, Setumli Dehansa, Nishika, Nitila, Metuka, Germain, and Lashe. You guys have informed me why the cameras are off. Okay. First verbal warning. Right? Yes. You put a base. There's a solid which gives you a gas apart from ammonium salt. Oh, කවුරුත් online ළමයි try කරන්නේ නැද්ද? කොහෙන්ද? No? Can? Sorry? Chlorine? No. No, no, like carbonate, sulfates, metals. I mean, carbonate, sulfides, metals react with acid to give hydrogen, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide. So with bases, it's just ammonium salts, you know. There is one more type of solid which can give a gas, and that is in the syllabus as well. Huh? No. Huh? No. No. Sulfates don't react with bases. හොඳට හිතුවොත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. Easy answer එකක් තියෙනවා. No. Metals like aluminium and zinc, they are amphoteric. They react with both HCl and both what? I mean both acids and bases, and give hydrogen, right? That's what you call amphoteric metal. Amphoteric metals react with acid to give hydrogen, react with base to give hydrogen also. ඒකින්ද ගෙදර aluminium sink එකට strong basic substances දාන්න එපා. Sink එක දිරනවා. Acid දාන්න එපා, ඒත් sink එක දිරනවා. Right? Okay. Right, let's say aqueous zinc chloride is tested with various reagents. Zinc chloride. And now remember when they say zinc chloride, there are two ions. Don't forget that, zinc 2+ ion and chloride ion. I don't know whether they are asking test for both. We'll see. Aqueous ammonia gives white precipitate which is soluble in excess reagent. Straight away, that's the answer. White. With sodium hydroxide also, zinc gives you white precipitate. Down arrow means precipitate, and it's soluble. And with ammonium, with ammonia also, it gives you white precipitate, and it is soluble. That's the one which is soluble in both cases. Easiest to remember. So straight away the answer is A. There is no doubt. And barium nitrate is out. There is no point. So somebody will think, silver nitrate is correct because chloride ions are going to precipitate as silver chloride. But silver chloride is white, not yellow. White precipitate. Then මෙහෙම කිව්වම ඔයගලන්ට precipitate වල colors මතක් වෙන්නේ නැති ළමයි ඉන්නව නේද? Right? There are two reasons why. When I say that you don't remember something like this, you don't remember this. There are two reasons. What are the two reasons? Either you haven't learned this. Either you can't remember this. Right? If you haven't learned this, haven't I given you options to learn? I have given, right? I have shared you the video of qualitative analysis. You can watch it. Done at the end, but WhatsApp message and then I'll put it again, right? Even you have forgotten, that's a good video to watch. If you have forgotten, what does it mean? It means you guys don't study. So then study. I can't come to your place and make you to study, right? Okay. Right, let's move on. So do you have to study first of all? Do you have to study? Do you have to work hard? Now? Obviously, right? Okay. Take a summary out again. Summarize it. No, this is our life. We have to enjoy to the fullest, right? Oh, you enjoy to the fullest this 8 months and suffer the rest of the life throughout, right? Right? Okay, you might say, no, sir, that millionaire didn't pass the O levels and he didn't do that, but he is a millionaire. Yes, 1 in 1 billion become a millionaire. 1 in 1 billion become a millionaire. I wish you had that luck also. There is no doubt. But you have forgotten there are many thousands of professionals in the world who are running the most important task in the world. Don't forget about it because you guys are so motivated to see $1 billion monthly income and that he hasn't gone to the school and he is the one running the whole world. That's all these fairy tales talks by these motivational speakers, right? But if you look at the world in the reality, right, the world is run by all the professions, right? The doctors, engineers, software engineers, right, and scientists, right? How can you underestimate the work done by those guys to keep the world active properly, right? So those people didn't become like that without passing the O levels and A levels. Very rarely, maybe one in billions, right? All the others went through these pathways and became the professionals, right? Yes, some businessmen they have some good luck and then they became not only good luck, they worked hard. I'm not underestimating their work, but don't look at those lucrative stuff. Look at the reality, right? Therefore, a mentality we have to have all the fun in this year. You have a lot of time to have fun, but you don't have a lot of time to do all levels and A levels. Okay. Which ion forms green precipitate? Now we learned, right? But it dissolves in excess, that's chromium, right? It dissolves in excess. Right, next. Which statement about the acids and bases is correct? Now, this is a question where we have to read each and every statement and find. 0.1 solution of ethanoic acid has a higher pH of 0.1 solution of hydrochloric acid. Right? Now, how do you know that? Okay. If pH is low, is it acidic or basic? If pH is low, actually less than 7, it's acidic, right? If it is higher, it's basic, right? If it is lower, then it is more acidic. Do you get it? So usually strong acids have lower pH. Weak acids have low pH. So you need to understand that very carefully. So when you look at this 0.1 ethanoic is a strong acid or weak acid? It's a weak acid. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So then weak acid is low, but higher than the strong acid. Then it's correct, right? Right? Therefore, the answer straight away, A is correct. All bases dissolved in water produce hydroxide? No, that's only alkalis, right? Not all the bases. Bases react with nitrates to produce ammonia. This is very close, right? But this happens in the presence of what? Aluminium, right? Oxides of metals are always acidic, wrong. They are always, almost all the time basic or amphoteric. Okay, question number 10. A colorless solution. Colorless solution is tested by the following reaction. Which reaction is not characteristic of an acid, right? A piece of magnesium ribbon is added. Bubbles are seen. That's an acid because metals react with acids. A pungent smelling gas produce ammonium carbonate is added. That's a tricky question. Like ammonium carbonate is there, right? And you are going to add an acid here. Can you tell me what gas is coming out? You add an acid to ammonium. Ammonium carbonate is a very tricky compound in your syllabus. I'll tell you why. Because it has ammonium ion, it has carbonate ion. When you add acid to this, what is the gas produced? Carbon dioxide. Yeah. When you add acid to this, what gas is produced? Carbon dioxide. Pretty sure? Huh? It's a carbonate. What about online students?
It's a carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. Why do you say it's carbon dioxide?
So it's a carbonate.
It's a carbonate. Very simple. If you follow the simple instruction, you can find the answer. Carbonates produce carbon dioxide when you put an acid, right? So then acid, carbon dioxide, fine. Will it react with base also? Will it react with base also? मैं समझ में base साथ एक react कर रहा हूँ. No. Venu? No. Venu? Artish? No, it doesn't react with base. Yes, sir? No. Got it? Yeah. Yes. Why? O como no yo mami es que no me está. Huh? Why? Listen, what do you think? Not sure. Tell us. Not sure. Nishika, what do you think? Does it react with the base?
Yes.
Yes. If so, what do you get?
Water.
Didn't hear properly. Senushi, what do you think?
It reacts.
It reacts. What do you get?
Um, Ammonia, water, and a salt.
Yeah, very good. Yes, yes, yes. Ammonia. Either way, ammonium salt react with bases, give ammonia. Bases, solid. If ammonia gas produce, it's an ammonium salt. මේ දැන් ඉගෙන ගත්තේ. මේ දැන් ඉගෙන ගත්ත එක දැන් මතකද? Right? ප්‍රශ්නයක් ළමයි වෙන්නේ. Okay, so you put a base, you have ammonium ion. That will give you ammonia gas. උගානේ මොනවාරි color coding හරි දාලා මේක හදලා දෙන්න. This will give you ammonia gas. Right? Carbonate ion will give you carbon dioxide. But that is with acids, right? So that's what I said. This is a very tricky question. Okay. Now, ammonia is a pungent smelling gas. Carbon dioxide is a colorless, odorless gas, which will turn lime water milky. But this answer, have a look at this. A pungent smelling gas is produced. Ammonium carbonate is added to an acid. You are confusing us. Why? Acid decker than one in pungent smelling gas, the color odorless gas there. So odorless gas. Therefore, this is wrong. Right? This is wrong. So then this statement is false. This statement is true. Copper oxide added and the mix is warm. The solution turns blue. True, because copper oxide is a base. Metal oxide, acid reacts, give you the salt. Copper salts are what color? Blue in color. Copper sulfate aqueous, right? So this is true. The solution turns blue litmus red. Blue red acid. Blue red acid. All right, right? True. So then what is wrong is the false. What is correct is the false answer. Therefore, the answer is right. They are asking the false answer. Powdered calcium carbonate reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce calcium chloride. Now here, I know that most of you guys don't know how to write the ionic equations, right? I'm going to show you how to do it for the calcium carbonate. Just learn one at a time because it's a little complicated thing. But let me make it easier for you guys to grasp and do. Right? It's like this. Calcium carbonate. You write first of all. You write the balanced chemical equation. First, you write the balanced chemical equation. When you write the ionic equation, step 1 is the balanced chemical equation. Step 1, balanced chemical equation, BCE. Right? Okay, next, you are going to split. You are going to split compounds under these two conditions. 1, soluble ionic, you split into ions. Aqueous acids split into ions, right? Soluble ionic. That means aqueous ionic and aqueous acids split into ions. Split into ions. Okay. They must split current and have a look at this. Okay. Am I going to split calcium carbonate? Am I going to split calcium carbonate? Why not? It is a solid. So I'm not going to split it. Calcium carbonate, I'm going to keep it as it is. Am I going to split HCl? Yes. Why? It's aqueous acid. How many H plus ions are there? 2 H plus ions. How many chloride ions are there? 2 chloride ions. Correct. I made a mistake. 2 chloride ions. Okay. You guys understood the reactant side? Right. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so you can split into the two ions. Is that clear? Right, you guys understood how the reactants are split into ions? Right. That's only you have to split, huh? Ek was ionic, ek was acid, split into ions. Don't do anything to anything else, right? Calcium chloride, ionic, aqueous. How do you know ionic? Metal and non-metal. Calcium ion, chloride ion. Okay, Ananya? Oh, yes. Okay, so then calcium 2 plus aqueous, 2 chloride ions. Take a හරියට ලියන්න ඕනේ. And carbon dioxide, are you going to split that into ions?
No.
Yes, no, කියලා වුණා මට?
No.
No. Why not? Carbon dioxide is a gas. Definitely not. Right? So we don't split that into ions. Water? No. Why not? Electrolysis වලදී split කරා. ඒක පටලව ගන්න එපා. That's not related here. It's a covalent compound, so we don't split into ions. So you write as H2. Then what you do? Cancel spectator ions. Cancel spectator ions. How the spectator ions can be? Those who are not changing anything. Spectator ions. Spectator ions are cancelled. Spectator ions, those who are not doing anything. Then how the spectator ions can? මේ පන්ති වලත් එන්නේ ළමයි spectators ලා. එනවා spectate කරනවා ඉගෙන ගන්න නැහැ කියන එක ආගන්නවා ලියා ගන්නවා ආගන්නෙත් නැහැ ඔහේ ඉන්නවා. ගෙදර යනවා ඊළඟ දවසේ එනකොටත් එකම විදියට. Right? Okay. එහෙම වෙන්න එපා. Spectate ions. Right? Okay. But here, let's check the do we have spectate ions? Have you noticed any spectator ion?
Yeah.
What is that? Cl minus. Why? Here it's 2Cl aqueous. The maybe the calcium carbonate. Do you have the same calcium carbonate in the product side? No, there is a change happen. You have H plus ions. Do you have H plus ions in the product side? No, they have. There is a change. There is a change happen. H plus nine. Then yeah, water to lead. Do you get it? And chloride ions. You have chloride and 2Cl minus aqueous and 2Cl minus aqueous on the spectator ions. Cancel out. What is remaining is the ionic equation. Therefore, the answer, can you tell me what's the answer?
D.
D. Hari අමාරුයි නේ මේක නිවුවට පස්සේ මෙතන හොයලා දෙන්න නේද? Okay. The answer is D. The answer is D.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, according to the solubility rules, sir, if we get an insoluble one, sir, do we keep it like that or should we?
ඒකනේ මෙතන නිදින කරලා තියෙන්නේ. We have kept calcium carbonate as solid. That's it.
There are NH4CO3 reacts with acid and bases both now. So can't we see it as say it's amphoteric?
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. එහෙම we can't call it amphoteric because amphoteric substances will give the same gas reacting with acid or base. Hydrogen මයිද? ඒකින්ද amphoteric කියන්න බෑ. That's very good thinking. Question number 12. Ethanoic acid is a weak acid. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. We know that. Ethanoic acid molecules partially dissociate into ions. Sorry. Right? Yes, it's a true statement. Why? That's the definition of a weak acid. Partially dissociate. 1 mole of ethanoic acid higher pH than. Then 1 mole of ethanoic acid has higher pH than 1 mole of mole per dm cube HCl is right sensible for you. Now it's true. Ethanoic acid is always more dilute. Oh, you can make ethanoic more concentrated than acid. It depends on how many moles that you dissolve. Right. Ethanoic acid is a proton acceptor. Is that clear? Acceptor is a base. Right. proton donor is the acid. May short notes, huh? Proton donor is the acid. Proton donor, it has to give the H plus ion. Proton can H plus. Some of you don't know what proton is. Right? You know protons are they are in the nucleus. H plus is also called proton. H plus ion is also called proton. All right. So therefore it's false. They are asking which statements are correct. 1 and 2 only. Then the answer is A. Then the answer is A. Okay, you better write that ionic equation properly. But anyway, some of you are now in kind of a relaxed mood, no semester exam, my goodness, that's all. No, there is just 39 days for the main exam. 39 days. No, in terms of revision class, 39 days. Isn't it? We are going to meet only 39 days. That's it. Right? That's how it is closed. I don't have to remind you the human day calculation for the exam, right? මොකක් හරි එක ක්ලාස් එකකදී මම කරලා පෙන්නනවා නේද? ඒක theory class එක නේද? අනිත් අය දැනගන්න ඕනේ ඒක. The real number of days remaining for the exam. මොන පොඩ ආගුමන්ට් එකක් හදලා පෙන්නන්න ටක් ගාලා. ඒක තවත් අඩුයි. ඒක තවත් අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. දැන් දවස් කීයක් තියෙනවද exam එකට? How many days you have? Sorry? How many days? You basically have 39 weeks. 39 weeks, the 273 days. So you are very happy. 173 days, so we can do anything. Then, when you divide this by how many subjects you do? Average 7 kilo. So this is almost like how many days? 30?
39.
39 days are there for one subject. දෙන්නම් වැඩේ තව තියෙනවනේ time. තව පොඩ්ඩක් සෙල්ලම් කරලා 30 විතර ආවට පස්සේ අපිට study කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතා ගන්න. 30 days there for one subject. That's enough, no? But the truth is this. How long you study per day? Maximum 2 hours. Average gatto, average. Study, not schooling, not tuition, not anything. Quality time study, 2 hours. Therefore, how many total hours you are going to study? 546 hours. And then you divide 546 hours by 24. You find the number of days you really study. How many? 22.27 days.
Just 75.
22.75. 75 days. And you divide 22.75 days by number of subjects you are doing, right? So you are just 3.25 days away from your exam. This is how close is the exam to you? ඔයාට එක subject එකක් fully පාඩම් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ 3.25 days. That's the truth. සමහර අයට you can be like kind of little relaxed. මම දැන් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ දැන්ට කරපු lessons ඔක්කොම කරලා තියෙන්නේ. I have to like so what you have to do during this 3.25 days, having a superhuman power, you are not going to sleep or you are not going to get up in the Get up from the chair. 3.25 days. Nika imagine kalabanda. Can I finish all the past papers? Now, mummy, this is not a joke. Just think, okay, you are going to study for 3.25 days at a stretch for a particular subject. Can I do all my past papers and check with the mark schemes and study whatever I haven't learned, and then double check with them and ask with one of the teachers to clarify my doubts and those are the works that you do as a quality study. Can you finish it 3.25 days? No, right? That means that much exam is close to you. Then what is to get another study, right? But it is impossible to raise this to 3. Sorry, 6. 6 karanda bad. 6 karanda na the number of hours that you study for a day should be what? Minimum 4. It's impossible. No karanda puluwana niyama. Right? Right? Even you elected a new president, he can't increase the number of days for the exam. Right? Therefore, the only thing that we have under control is what? The number of hours you study per day, and also how smart you manage your time to extent. Right? Let me give you a little bit of advices how to study. Now in my A levels, and all levels, I couldn't do this because I was traveling to the class little closer to my house. But in A level, I have a traveling time of somewhere around 35 minutes to 40 minutes to Nugevada to come to the class from my house, right? So then what I do, I study at night, right? So then I study until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the night, right? Then I am sleeping in the evening. That's the time either I'm coming back from the class or I'm going to the class. Bus seat so I cover my sleeping time in that way, right? But that power nap will help me to study more time at night, right? Understood? And also, and the other most valuable time that you can cover your 3.25 days or 2 hours per day of quality study is the free period time, right? Free period time. Free period. That's okay. You can do. We also were like that. But we had our past paper tube open. Either past paper is open while having the chat. Right? We used to do some MCQs and finish that workload. Not the time. We were managing the workload. So then I don't have to spend that time to do the past papers at home. Likewise, you list down the workload that you have to do now and finish them during the times as much as possible. You guys have a lot of time because I know most of you are traveling in your parents' vehicle, right? There is some 10 minutes, 15 minutes good time that you can have a look at certain areas to cover, right? Or you can sleep there and cover that sleeping time after studying. Ponji Bobla වගේ ඉඳලා ළමයි exam pass වෙන්න බෑ. එහෙම ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. You have to what? Play the game. But not to play games. I mean, play the exam game. Is that clear? Right? Okay. There's some advices that you need to keep in your head. Right? Okay. So let's move on. The water in a lake is acidic and fish are dying. Hey. Okay. The water in the lake needs to be neutralized. When I read MCQs, I go in my mind to that situation. Right? Okay. The water in the lake needs to be neutralized. Which compound can be added? In excess, neutralize the water in the lake. Again, very important. There is very important word, neutralize. But the substance you are going to add, excess. Why do you have to add in excess into the lake? Right? Because you don't know how much solid has to be added. Why? Lake එක මරන් ඇවිල්ලා titrate කරලා බලන්න. What is the point? But actually, honestly, even though I was joking, that's what you have to do. Don't bring the whole lake. Just bring a sample of the lake, like 25 cm cube of the lake, water and then titrate with a known concentration of base. And 25 cm cube of the lake solution needs 5 cm cube of the base, and then calculate the moles of the base and calculate the mass, and then look at the lake and at least approximate the total volume of the lake you have and scale up that mass of the base to be added. And then එහෙම තමයි කෙමිස්ලා වැඩ කරන්නේ. හරිද? Okay. And then put that amount of base into the lake to neutralize. Is that clear? Right? But that is still approximate. That's the role of analytical chemists in the society. And it's not like all analytical chemists are like utilizing lakes, right? But that's one of the simple examples. But you are going to add excess in order to make sure that you are done with all acid, right? We do that in the salt preparation as well, right? So now you are going to add some of them. Let me use the elimination method to explain. Sodium nitrate useless. Why? Sodium nitrate is a salt. It's not a base. Therefore, it's a salt. It's not a base. Useless, out. And phosphoric acid is out. Useless. Why? Because it's an acid. You can send the fish into the heaven fast. Right? Right? That's also wrong. Right? Then we have potassium hydroxide and calcium carbonate. Potassium hydroxide is a base. Calcium carbonate is a basic salt. Which one you select? Potassium hydroxide. Why? So you are going to give. I don't know how to explain it. Now it's like this. Now fish are suffering due to acidity. Right? Now what you are doing? You are putting a strong base in order to neutralize the acid. And you are putting the strong base in excess. Now the fish are suffering from the alkalinity. Right? I don't want to give the political example now. Okay. Those who can understand, you can understand the situation. Right? You put the sodium hydroxide excess. Now fish are suffering from what? Excess base. So you have to put something which can neutralize the acid as well as in excess which is not soluble. Then it is what? Calcium carbonate. Why? Calcium carbonate is a solid. You put in excess, it doesn't dissolve in water. How do you know? Have you seen calcium carbonate in water which is not soluble in your life? No. Have you seen calcium carbonate inside the water without getting dissolved in your life, day-to-day life? I mean, even in a trip? No. Have you seen corals? Corals, you haven't seen corals in the sea.
So all the season goods to the coral are there.
No. I'm saying corals are calcium carbonate. So do you see them that calcium carbonate is not soluble in water? Right? Just in case the sea is going to get acidic, corals quickly dissolve and neutralize it. But having excess coral doesn't make it base because it's insoluble. Therefore, that's why we had used what? Calcium carbonate. Right? A lot of interesting things in chemistry, right? Problem is when we take an example to teach you chemistry that you don't know the examples. Right? Day to day, right? You do. Go and look at your fish tank. There inside there is a coral, small coral food, and it ever exists in the fish tank. Then have one. But I can't take responsibility of you are going to bother your parents to have a fish tank and say, Mr. Doom said you have a fish tank. No, I can't take it. Okay, which element forms an acidic oxide? It's going to be non-metal oxide. It's C. It can't be what? Metal oxide, right? It's a non-metal oxide, C. And nitrogen oxide, nitrogen 1 oxide, nitrogen 2 oxide, carbon monoxide, all are non-metal oxide and they do not react with acids and bases. You know these are called neutral oxides. You must know these neutral oxides. Water neutral, carbon monoxide neutral, nitrogen oxide neutral, right? N2O is nitrous oxide, no nitrogen 1 oxide is also neutral, but dangerous, right? N2O ganala thenane. N2O,
Yeah,
yes, what is N2O?
like nitrous goes in cars,
Okay, racing cars to boost the
oxygen.
boost the oxygen, I mean burning of you put N2O. There's another moment that people use N2O. General anesthetic, right? And there's another thing, N2O is called the laughing gas. When you inhale N2O, you can't stop what? Laughing.
So what's the reason for that?
Because it's going to go and activate the brain area which controls laughing. Right? Okay. ඒකින්ද සමහර ළමයි ඉන්නවා ක්ලාසස් වල මම අහනවා හැමතිස්සෙම laughing gas ගහගෙනද ඉන්නේ කියලා. Right? Okay. But by the way, there is another important thing is not only laughing gas
Sir,
make you laugh, it can kill you also because first of all it will make you unconscious and then it will.
sir,
There's a nice joke related to that, but I'll tell you when you come to the end of class. Okay, the graph shows how the pH in this field changes over a period of time. At which point the soil is neutral? Very simple, D, right? Because pH is 7. Did anyone ask questions in the online class?
yes, sir, yes, sir. What was the answer for the 13th one?
13. 13, huh? They are neutral oxides.
The 13th answer.
Did I pass the 13th answer? Okay. Lecture explain kala වෙනම answer එක ලිව්වට පස්සේ ආපුවහම what's the answer for the 13th one? What happened? Hearing. Calcium carbonate. ලංකාවටම හොඳයි අපි. You need time to write down the stuff. Okay, the next question. Now things are a little easier because almost all of them are acid based. Thymol blue, the indicator colors. Which colors would be obtained when each indicator is added to pure water? Pure water, you have to consider that as pH 7, right? So then color at pH 1, color changes, color at pH 12, right? That means thymol blue changes its color at 3, right? So what's the pH of water? 7. Therefore, it will change the red color to what color? Yellow color at 3. That's what you need to understand, right? This is a logical question. This is not a theory question. Then some of you are thinking, my goodness, our teachers didn't ask us to remember these colors and how they change. No, this is not a question like that. You have to understand 3 is the pH, the color changes. So then you decide, all right, fine. So then water's pH is 7, then it has to change color. Now in water, it has to be yellow. Even though it says pH 12, it changes at 3. Therefore, these two are, this is out. So it should be Congo red changes the color at 5. That means Congo red will become red at 5, starting from blue. So then pH of water is 7. So then Congo red has to become red. Therefore, then the answer is straight away this. A sting of insects, X has pH 6 and insects Y has pH 8. The table shows pH of 4 substances. Which substances are used to treat the 2 stings? This is the reason why you should not use what? Medicines for the treatments without knowing what's happening. Is that clear? Like, when X insect is biting you, and then your doctor is saying, okay, you can apply basic substance and you can get rid of that. So you remember that. Next day, another insect bite you. Therefore, you go and Dr. Wamben and then basic basic. What happens? And that fellow's thing is basic itself. So you are going to ruin the wound. Why? You are putting more and more harmful substance. Right? Okay. So anyway, this is acidic and this is basic. So if X bites you, use a base. Sodium hydroxide why? Sodium hydroxide is a strong base, and that will also burn the wound, right? So you have double shock. So then sodium hydrogen carbonate is good because it reacts with acids to give carbon dioxide. And if insect Y bites you, it gives you basic, and then you have to neutralize by putting an acid. What will happen? That will burn your skin as well. So use a weak acid, right? So in order to neutralize this, use a weak base. Use weak base and put this weak acid, right? That's the reason. Therefore, the answer is B.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can't we put vinegar to treat insect X?
Vinegar or what?
To treat insect X?
Pull. Then I see you. After that, you are in IC. Because vinegar is acidic then, Nithila. So you are putting the acidic sting water acid The insect will laugh at you. No, thumbs within the Okay. Right. What is the volume of acid used in this titration? You have to take the final volume. 27.3 minus 22.4. Look at the volume. 4.9. Come on,
Yes.
4.9. Oh. Right. So barium hydroxide is an alkali and it's a strong alkali. pH is around 13, 14. Right, 13, 14. Hydrochloric acid pH is around 1, actually 0, 1, 2. Right. So what happens to the pH of the solution? An excess of barium hydroxide added. You are starting from 1 and it will go to 7 first and then it will go to 14. Right. So increases from 1 to about 14. So it goes like this now, right? This is how it changes. Remember, near the end point, rapidly the pH changes. Till then it starts from 1 and then it will go to 7. That's the neutral point. And once all the neutralization happens, it will reach somewhere around 14. That's how normal titration curve. This is how the pH changes. Like until little bit of acid remains, it shows you like a lot of acidic properties. But at the end point, suddenly the pH solution becomes from acidic to slightly alkaline or neutral. So then rapid pH change, and then you add further, it will slightly increase in the pH. So this is the characteristic pH curve for strong base titration. But it's very important. Your solution has the acid. Therefore, you have to start from 1. If the solution have the base, then it goes down. Okay, because you have to start from higher. Ready? Right. Okay. So then the answer is anyway. If you guys miss any note I have given, you can go to the empty chat and you find the screenshot, right? Here. Right, next one. 3 solids PQ are all react with dilute sulfuric acid, produce zinc sulfate. So that means it should be something of zinc. It can be zinc itself as well, right? So it can be zinc, it can be zinc oxide, it can be zinc hydroxide. you must be able to write this list, okay? Zinc carbonate. Why? Because there were a list of reactions called acid reactions. Acid metal oxide, acid metal hydroxide, acid metal carbonates. They all give you the salt and respective other product. It may be hydrogen, carbon dioxide, water, and all this. So you must be knowing it, right? Your answers there, right? So then, but it cannot be anything like a salt, like zinc sulfate, zinc nitrate. No, it can't be because they don't react with acids. It must be something reacting with acid. So the gas produced, this will give you hydrogen gas. Zinc oxide will give you water. Zinc hydroxide will give you water. Zinc carbonate will give you carbon dioxide. So the gas will be produced from hydrogen and this. So then PR produce gases and Q doesn't, right? The gas produced in P reacts, will not burn. The gas produced R reacts, will burn. So R is hydrogen. R getting hydrogen because it pops, right? It reacts and burn, right? Therefore, R is zinc because and P is carbonate. Therefore, the answer is C. That's how you do. You can't find the answers just like maybe the discussion here. It's very important to write a discussion. Otherwise, you are not bringing anything home, right? You are not taking anything home. Oxygen is not produced. No oxygen gas is produced in an acid reaction. So this is the problem with you. I mean, some of you are not connecting your knowledge of the previous lessons into the question. You try to just randomly find an answer, right? Even of Nethuki's answer, she is trying to connect something she knew. So we can correct it and what? Move forward. But some of you don't connect. Connect at the end. So you have to work. That's why you are coming to revision class, right? It will show you where and what to be learned little more. Then next week you have to work hard. If you do it, you win, right? If you don't do it, you decide, right? Okay. A salt is produced in which of the following reaction? Now you know. Magnesium hydrochloric acid, the salt is magnesium chloride. Zinc oxide and sulfuric acid, zinc is zinc sulfate. Zinc oxide, sulfuric, zinc sulfate, right? Sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride. Copper carbonate, dilute sulfuric acid, copper sulfate. All the times there is a salt produced. But which statement about the products of the reactions are correct? A flammable gas is produced in reaction P. Yes, because hydrogen is produced, correct. Right? Water is formed in all reactions. No, the first one doesn't produce water, right? It produces all the salts formed are soluble in water, are they? Yes, magnesium chloride soluble, sodium chloride. See, solubility rules. Then only you can apply it here and find it. Okay. Therefore, the answer is 1 and 3. Right? See. Which row correctly describe the solubilities of both ammonium sulfate and sodium carbonate? Both are soluble. Right? Ammonium, all ammonium salts are soluble, all sodium salts are soluble. Therefore, the answer is D. Those are solubility rules straight away. Okay, 2 incomplete statements about preparation of insoluble salt. If you are going to prepare an insoluble salt like silver chloride, right? Practice barium sulfate, silver bromide. How do you know they are insoluble salt? Calcium carbonate, right? Or silver iodide, lead chloride, right? Lead iodide. Right, you write a list you can do without looking at anything you can do as far as you remember your solubility rules. By insolubility rules, you know what are the salts which are not soluble. So write all of them this side. They are not soluble. What you have to add, you must use a soluble silver salt. A soluble chloride salt. That's the rule. If you want to produce insoluble salt, you must use soluble salts to start off with. So how do you know the soluble salts? Again, solubility rules. All nitrates are soluble, some chlorides are soluble. Use them and decide, right? So if you need chloride, take group 1 chloride. They should be all soluble, right? And then there will be a byproduct. So complete the rest of the reactions as a homework. That's how you work. So then sodium nitrate aqueous. So precipitation can be used to prepare insoluble salt. We will be definitely not titration, precipitating insoluble salt, right? Such as barium nitrate is out. Why? All nitrates are soluble. Therefore, the answer should be lead sulfate, such as insoluble, such as lead sulfate. The salt is collected by filtration, no doubt. Definitely filtration and wash and dry, right? So then the answer is C. Which methods could be used to make pure sample of copper sulfate? Nice question. Okay, so the acid is sulfuric. You guys know that. So sulfuric copper carbonate, will it work? Sulfuric copper carbonate reacting, yes. Acid carbonate, copper sulfate, carbon dioxide, and water, right? So it's okay. Metal oxide, copper oxide, acid. Copper oxide is a base, sulfuric is an acid. So then metal, salt, and water, right? Then get the Balano reaction set, right? You have in your theory book. So this is okay, right? You can't make precipitation because this is soluble. Soluble salts cannot be precipitated. So you need to remember what are soluble salts, right? And then we have to decide acid and metal. Most probably, most of you decide that correct as well. Yes, true, but not for copper. Copper is below hydrogen in reactivity series, therefore it doesn't react with sulfate. Those are trickiest questions, right? Only done well by the students who are like having sharp knowledge in the syllabus, right? Right? So then write down, right? This is okay if it is not copper. It is not silver, not gold. Anything above? Okay. Therefore, the answer is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Which salt preparation uses the burette and pipette? Soluble salt. So soluble acid and base, right? Then you can say potassium chloride, potassium hydroxide, and hydrochloric acid. Right? Titration method will be used to prepare salt starting from aqueous acids and alkalis. Right? Therefore, the answer is C. Zinc sulfate is soluble salt, can be prepared by excess zinc carbonate and sulfuric acid. Which piece of apparatus would not be required? Right? And you don't need to use the condenser. This is fractional distillation. Fractional distillation current by salt, right? Right? But evaporating engines, filter funnel, all are needed. Therefore, the answer is okay. Right, last 3 questions. Anyway, in future, I have a plan of reducing the MCQs to 25 so that we can finish earlier, discuss fast as well. I mean, until we finish the topical MCQs. Okay, right? But these papers, these are grade 9 stuff. No, it's better to do like many questions, right? Okay. So when aqueous iodine is added to vanadium V2 plus ion, each lose 1 electron. V2 plus loses 1 electron. Then tell me what is the ion produced of vanadium? Does it become +1 or +3? +1 or +3? It loses an electron. Come on, try. We go wrong when you're trying. That's okay in the class. Huh? +1. +3. Okay, removing an electron is oxidation or reduction? Oxidation, oil ring, right? Oil, oxidation is losing electrons. So if losing electron is oxidation, from oxidation number has to what? Increase. Therefore, this should be what? 3 plus, not plus 1. Right? Okay. So which property of transient elements shown this? Transient elements have variable oxidation state. That's the answer. Right? But I just gave you this idea so that you know, right? How do you find it? Brass is an alloy. Which statement about brass is correct? It contains E of electrons. Even though it's an alloy, it is still a metal. Right? Therefore, it contains E of electron is correct. Right? Brass is a mixture of metals. Metals have C of electrons. Right? Okay, next. Aluminium is an important metal with many uses. Properties are listed. Which set of properties help to explain cooking and storing food? Right? Good conductor of heat? Yes, cooking. Right? Otherwise, you can't cook. No. It has low density? Yes, otherwise the housewife will build some biceps. Right, okay. Right. It has an oxide layer prevent corrosion. Yes, therefore I feel like all the properties are important. At some point,
The same question about
Huh?
the same question like
Okay. Aluminium's properties. I mean, this semester exam. But I believe you. Okay, no? So happy, right? We are done with
Yeah.
paper revision 6, paper 1. And within another 4 minutes time, the online students, you will get the assignment of revision 7. And then I'll be giving that for the physical students. Also, you have somewhere around 3.5 minutes to go through if you have any redox or type redox, electrolysis, and such. What's the you check.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah. Paper 6 are extra copies got then the matter. Those who have them at home. Were you telling something?
Sir, in this exam, sir, the MCQ papers, I think 15 questions were from the 2018 paper, sir.
We are taking them from Cambridge papers. All right, ළමයි. දැන් online students ලා මට කවුරුත් පේන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් මම හිතන්නේ electricity cut එක තියන අයට දැන් you must have electricity now, okay? You guys have to put the camera on when the assignment is on. And do
So I'm out of Colombo. In my area have frequent power cuts, so it's pointless putting the video on.
Okay, just drop me the proper excuse message, then I will consider. Right, now I want you guys to be separated. I want Risali to go to that corner. Paper. Yes, one chat. And then I want you to come to the middle one. Everything. And I want you. And mix it up. I can give you like the extra few minutes for you to go through. We'll be having redox lesson, huh? Redox electrolysis, metal extraction. You can slowly try to remember like redox, removal of electrons in oxidation, gaining electrons in reduction, gaining oxygen is oxidation, removing them, and then electrolysis rules, anox, red cat, reduction at cathode, reduction anode, oxidation, three rules of electrolysis.
Allocated electrolysis too.
Yeah. Anode depletes preferentially over anions. At the cathode, ion of less reactive metal will preferentially discharge. Anion, the two E's of discharge tables, right? Iboxene, you can remember, right? Likewise, you need to have some memory of them. I know the biggest problem with current generation is when you are given just a paper and a pen and ask you to study, you don't know how to do it. If you are given just paper and a pen to study, no resources given, and you are put in a side into a table and ask you to study, record, you are unable to do. Neither. That's what you have to do. Right? You believe yourself, take a paper and write down whatever you know about the particular topic. Right? By just looking at this tutorial will not help, only temporarily. The one that you just looked at, next moment you get the paper, you remember it. Rather than that, more sustainable knowledge is you take a piece of paper and write whatever you know. That brings you like knowledge, right? Draining into your head slowly. Just in case if the power cut happens, don't panic. Who needs a periodic table? You have your file copy, you can use it, periodic table or whatever you said. Take a while to run back. The information here on it. I'll read. Sorry. Okay, your assignment is on. I know the paper is not there. I will put the paper now in the chat. Can you guys please put your videos and join the class? Anyway, Kattiya Junction and this area, you don't have the power cut today. I don't know, next moment it will go that. I can't. But
So in Wareli, there's Paka.
හරි හරි ඔයා නොරිලි ගිය එක පුදු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ ඔයා එතන ඉඳන් but anyway exactly කියලා කටගත්ත එක කරේ no yesterday they cut පොඩ කතා නොකර ඉන්නවනේ මේක ફોકස් කරන්න වැඩේ තමයි Okay, now the paper is paper can be found in the chat. You can download it and start. Please confirm whether you could download it properly in the chat. Please leave everything else. Leave your place, don't keep clutter. Only 2 people in the class here. Redox lesson is anyway tough lesson, right? You try to do your best in this paper. And we can discuss it next day. And then next day you will be getting redox again. Right? So then you will do better. I know.
Sir? 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 Sir?
So I have a question. So can you hear me?
You are having approximately 1.5 minutes. Make sure you start submitting your answers now. Finish. Double check your answers, huh? Don't regret at the end. Especially the last question, you might find it difficult to do because I haven't done that with you. You go improvement in the next papers. Okay, time is up. Make sure that you submit your answers. Now I'm double checking how many of you are submitting the answers. Currently with my checking, Senushi, Sahansa, Minali, Dulmika, Chanudi have to submit the answers. Chanudi send me personally, right? Chanudi send me personally, yes, right. Others quickly submit your answers. Okay, let me have your answers. Please make sure you write the name and also the revision series number. It's R7. All right, somebody, wait, we are not done. Listen. Now, from today's class, I mean, after today's class, we are going to streamline the classes. So next day we'll be discussing this paper first. After that, you will be given the second paper of that. So you do a small research on your education. See whether you are doing better in the second attempt than this one, right? And then build your confidence in answering. That's how the revision class is like formulated until we finish all the topical revision. Is that clear? But this topical revision is going to quickly overcome the theory class pace. For example, we will be done with even with the energetics and the kinetics revision before the monthly test, well before the monthly test, right? So once this overcomes the theory class speed, I'm starting the model papers. Right, the model paper will consist of questions from all the lessons that we have done by that time. Right, so we are working on a particular plan. So you guys also please work on a plan or work to this plan and study and improve. Then only we can get the maximum. Right, so with that, I'm going to finish another successful day of a revision class. I'll see you guys next week with the same enthusiasm or more enthusiasm on answering and scoring. Okay, with that, let me wrap the meeting. Bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye, sir. Thank you, teacher.